hello to everyone, and it is such a joy. This is my very favorite part of all of Zooming ever, when everybody just wonderfully appears and I see every single face, so many of whom I know, others of whom I'm yet to know, but it brings such joy to see so many people. And I associate each and every one of you with special stories and relationships and lives shared. What a gift it is to see each and every one of you. I know that right now, Joe and Sue have been coordinating this, and Sue is now dubbed the official co-host. Will be moving things forward. I just want to say I'm so glad to just be part of this and to see each and every one of you. It moves me so much. Thanks, Joe, for the vision of doing this. Thanks, Sue, for all you've done together on this thing. This is going to be fantabulous. Let me now back away as Sue says what needs to be said and Joe does what needs to be done.
Thank you, Brian, and welcome everybody. We are embarking on a bit of an experiment this evening. We are testing out some new approaches to enriching the field of ministry here in South Florida and beyond, anchoring the CETE network as an opportunity for folks to really build some relational muscles and follow our curiosities and share some questions together. I'm kind of talking and allowing a few more folks to enter before we take a moment maybe to settle in with a little prayer. And then Joe will do an intro and we'll get into the heart of the time together once we get a few more folks in. So just take a moment to enjoy the folks that you see on the screen, feel them, presence them, as that will help build our field as well.
And Sue, so, perhaps while we're getting orientated here, maybe I could ask Brian. Brian, if you could share a few comments, since not all people have come, to the meal gatherings that we've had the last couple of years, about CETE's mission and the PhD, the MDiv, the Lilly grants, what you would want to say to orientate people who maybe have not been able to connect with CETE in the last 2 years we've been in existence.
I will be happy to jump in and share a few brief moments, but I want to just underline that the grace and the joy is every one of you here. CETE has this vision from the very beginning of a very simple mission. It's somewhat ambitious, however. I'm just going to read you the mission that we have. It is, quote, "The foundation supports spiritual, theological, and ministerial formation that transforms communities." How's that for a wonderful, wonderful, big and open mission? Our vision is that we support creative relationships with degree programs in theology or ministry that emphasize academic quality, spiritual formation, and community engagement, a spirit of inclusion and diversity. Whenever possible, working with programs accredited by the Associate Theological Schools, but we're always grounded in a practical theological approach. We always are discerning the signs of the times to strategically identify emerging leadership opportunities and to provide critical funding for innovative programs. We sponsor those 2 annual gatherings to gather a community of supporters and to honor leaders, including in spiritual formation and lives shared. And we do our best to support these things, but the reality is that that's only just beginning with our possibilities. What we see here this evening represents so much more. It's wonderful to come together those 2 times a year. Sometimes folks might be at a distance and might just be able to watch maybe from live stream. Sometimes they might be present. And sometimes when they're present, they might be there and enjoy the shared meal and company, but they might not get an opportunity to share maybe with everyone quite the way we can now as we build this network in this community. Let me just say real briefly, you know the history, so many of you, of CETE, which is that we're all about being independent and yet deeply relational. And in that sense of independence and deep relationship, We connect with academic programs, for example, the kinds of programs that are offered through Palm Beach Atlantic University and accredited by the Association of Theological Schools, and which follow on those that were first pioneered by the Florida Center for Theological Studies down in Miami, and which then came on board into the School of Theology and Ministry, where Joe was once the dean. And Joe, thank you so much for your leadership there and for that vision. And then it now is supported by Palm Beach Atlantic University for not only the PhD in practical theology that started back in the year 2006 with the vision period that lasted a decade before, but also the MDiv. And the MDiv that is now rooted not only here at Palm Beach Atlantic, where I happen to be sitting at the moment, but also in Miami at Florida Memorial University. And also a Master of Arts in Christian Studies and the Master of Arts in Intercultural Studies, Missiology, and the MAIS, that Master of Arts in Intercultural Studies, that will lead straight away to the PhD, saving approximately 2 years of study by being so connected. And the CTC programs, the Community Transformation and Chaplaincy programs. Those programs give a rich, rich diet. And now we've got, as I understand, about 30 people enrolled in those programs alone just this semester. That's part of one of those major grants given by the Lilly Endowment, and then we've got another one that is bubbling up there, and we're told real good news with it, which is a whole new program on preaching that will start up a Florida College of Preachers, that will start up a Florida Festival of Preaching, and we'll start up something that will be supportive and training and guiding and walking together with veteran experience in the art of preaching and preaching spirituality to those who are just dreaming of maybe beginning and exploring what that could be all about, and doing so in multiple languages and cultures and across different ecclesial traditions. All of these are part of the vision of CETE and part of what's going on here. But I want to emphasize that far more important than any one of those things is what is right here in all these squares that you see. Each and every one of you, and all the various histories and legacies that you live and connect with. That's what CETE is all about. And that's why CETE is simultaneously independent and closely connected. Because in our independence, we can bring together all of you like this. And we can seek and receive different sources of funding that make things like this possible. And above all, we seek to journey with each and every one of you and all of you together. Allow me to stop there, Joe. I'm happy to answer additional questions and delighted to have Sue and you, Joe, to carry on the conversation as you see fit.
The only thing at this point I would add to what Brian is saying is that this would not be present without the leadership of Brian. And what he failed to mention is in the 2 years or so we've been in existence, with Lilly, Brian has raised over $7 million to fund these programs at Palm Beach Atlantic and at Florida Memorial, and also with the 5 gatherings we've had in person of people. So as he said, we're very excited tonight because most of the rest of the evening is going to be listening to each other, to you, and to see what emerges. What could a CETE virtual network possibly mean, or what grace could it have? And so most of the rest of the evening, will be that kind of conversation. But at this moment, why don't we anchor ourselves in the present moment in silence and in prayer? So we take a moment to just bring us to the present moment where we are, and let's pray. Come, Holy Spirit, fill the hearts of your people and kindle in us the power of your love. Send forth your Spirit, and we should be recreated, and you shall renew the face of this earth. Amen.
Amen.
Now, at this point, thank you. At this point, if it's a preacher saying that, we would have heard a lot more amens, I know. At this moment, we like to go around and kind of like popcorn style, like no order, just jump in, like the popcorn popping, and just say your name, We're here physically located. And what brought you to this gathering tonight? So I'll say, start it with, I'm Joe Einone. I'm here in Hollywood, Florida. And what brought me here tonight is to listen to you and listen to the emergence that comes from our conversation rooted in the mission that Brian explained. Just keep going.
And I'm Brian Fraley, deeply moved by the audacious presence of every one of you. And I'm going to go ahead and call on the next speaker. And when that next speaker finishes up, call on the next person. I'm going to ask that Wilson Choo-Choo jump right in.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Wilson, as Brian has called me out, and I'm located here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'm a past student at St. Thomas, graduated with PhD in 2020. I have actually been part of the CETE from the beginning. I have attended the gatherings in person. I have missed maybe the last two maybe. But anyways, I'm here tonight to continue the journey together.
Thank you.
And call on someone else.
I'm calling out Dale Young.
Hello, everybody. Dale Young. I'm in Miami. Graduated from South Florida Theological School. My former professor, Haskell Burnett. Rabbi, how are you? So I continue to do some training of volunteer chaplains in disaster and also grief support. And I'm just so delighted that after a year, I translated a book on grief support into Creole language. It's been a long journey. It's being printed right now. If anybody is interested, it is a textbook on grief support in around the world. Actually, I've got examples from Chile and Colombia and Guyana and Haiti and India and Sri Lanka, Guatemala, Colombia, and so forth. So delighted to share that.
Call on someone else, please.
Angelique Goodnow.
Angelique, you're muted. You're muted.
I'm not functioning my mute and unmute button. So I'm Angelique. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm Angelique Montgomery Goodenough. I'm in Austin, Texas, currently. By the grace of God, Joe Einone, Brian Fraley, and Sue Gallagher, I graduated from the Practical Theology program in the first cohort. I am a professor of religious studies and theology at St. Edward's University in Austin, and have not been able to participate in the CETE functions as much as I would like. So I thought I would at least pop in tonight, since Brian made it easy to do, and hear what the future is of this program.
Thanks, Angelique. Thank you.
Call on someone, please, Angelique.
I'm going to call on, how about Sue? Sue
Hey, Angelique,
Gallagher.
good to see you. Yeah, I'm Sue Gallagher. I'm a graduate of the St. Thomas University program back in the 90s, and have I'm currently a board member for the CETE Foundation, and really excited about tonight and how we will walk this out together. So with that, I will pass it on to Abraham Thomas. Oh, and I'm in Davie, Florida.
Abraham Thomas. I'm in West Palm Beach. I'm a PhD candidate in the Practical Theology program at PBA. I'm here to listen to others and network with others.
Call on someone.
Yeah, Jeffrey.
Jeffrey, your go. Turn off mute.
Jeffrey, you need to unmute.
Yeah, I'm okay now. I'm Jeffrey Onike. I come from Seattle. I'm a student at PBA, PhD, Practical Theology. I'm happy to be here. I participated one time in person in this conference way back when we had a conference here in PBA, but I'm also appreciate that being at Zoom today. Thank you very much.
Call on someone, please. Call on someone, Jeffrey.
I call Habit Forrest.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be here tonight. Nice to see you, Brian, and also Joe and others. And I even think I recognize Marlene. Hi, Marlene. I'm a graduate of St. Thomas University. I got my Master of Div in 2013, Master Div. And then I went on to take the Healing and Loss program. They had a certificate program there, and I was very blessed to be able to take that program and got a lot out of it. One of the things that I'm interested in is the vision of continuing this path of advanced education for students interested in theology. I'm an ordained minister at Center for Spiritual Living in Fort Lauderdale, and my area is pastoral care and chaplaincy. I volunteer at Holy Cross Hospital and through Catholic Hospice, and I visit patients and families there regularly and do pastoral care at my center. And I just appreciate that we have this program, and I especially enjoyed the rich cultural diversity that we have here. I don't see that in as many places as I would like, and I'm glad that this is a pathway that's creative enough to be inclusive, and I'm happy to be a participant. And I call on Marlene.
Hey everybody, Marlene Paul here, and I'm excited to be here. I'm just so glad I just saw the email, and I'm so happy to be available. Usually I'm not available, so I said let me just hop on because I really love being part of this community. I am in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I am an alumni. I graduated with the MDiv program, so just been prayerfully doing my thing with entrepreneurship and my nonprofit, and just being able to be a support around people who are my peers. So I think it's like a God ordained thing to just be able to have this opportunity just to come here and listen. And I will pass it on to Raymond.
Oh, thank you very much, Marlene. Okay, Raymond Anglin. I am in Plantation, Florida. Having served the Presbyterian Church, retired after 25 years as a pastor, and served for 18 years on the faculty of Florida Center for Theological Studies. So I am one of the carryovers from that leg of the history. And I am very, very appreciative of this, which is happening before our eyes. I had the privilege of being honored at the last gathering, and I say thank you to Brian and the others who allowed that to happen. I see myself as a part of the leadership of yesterday, and I've stepped aside to allow the new leadership to replace us. But I still see myself as learning from what the new leadership is doing in the church, and I'm very excited to be a part of this conversation.
Please call on someone.
Oh, sorry. Let me push it around here. I call on Askell.
First of all, I want to acknowledge the shout out by Dale Young. And in this instance, the student has transcended the teacher. I'm an ordained rabbi, ordained at the Hebrew Union College Jewish Institute of Religion, which is a 5-year program after the bachelor's. I have a Doctor of Divinity from there, and very happily, I was on the faculty of FCTS for 4 years, and then they decided to say, why don't you get the DMin, since I was teaching the DMin, so I got the DMin there, and they were very, very happy years. And I still teach. I'm probably the oldest one here. If God permits it, I'll be 89 in March.
Wow.
And I teach in a program of continuing education from the Hebrew University in Jerusalem. I tutor 2 rabbis who think I know more than them. that's questionable. And then there's a cantor who visits my house every week. And I fill her in on what she did not learn in cantorial school. And again, my 4 years at FCTS were magnificent.
Please call in someone else, Haskell.
Jonas Galaxy.
Okay, well, I'm trying hard. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, calling from Fontenay, Haiti.
Oh,
Oh, gosh.
I am a retired Presbyterian pastor living in Haiti. I spent nearly 35 years in the United States, about 40 of them at the Florida Center for Theological Studies. I did my and I was an instructor as well. What a pleasure to be connected with this group of wonderful people doing wonderful things. I had an opportunity last spring or the spring or fall, to participate at one of the gatherings, and that was a wonderful vision. I am so glad that this legacy is being carried on, and all those of you, some of you are part of my cohort. I heard Angeline and Dale Young, and all these people here. It is a great pleasure to hear you and to know that the legacy goes on, and that I'm part of it. Thank you.
great, Jonas.
All right.
On the suspicion that, yes, Jonas, you want to call the next person?
You want me to call somebody? Well, let me make sure that, did I see Angelique? Is that somebody who's been called already?
Yes, she has, but I don't think Fidelis Uko has been called yet. Nor has Emmanuel Buteau,
hold on,
think of it.
Thank you, Professor Brian. My name is Father Fidelis Uko. I'm a Catholic priest from Nigeria, a student of Palm Beach Atlantic University. I live here in Coral Gables. I'm a hospital chaplain with the Baptist Health System, South Florida. I'm researching on eco-theology and trying to implement the integral ecological worldview in my local community in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you. And now you need to call on somebody else.
I call Emma Buteau.
Oh, Emmanuel Buteau. Whoa, let's see.
Good evening, everyone. It's a real pleasure to be here. I have not been able to attend the other events, but I was really, really happy when CETE was born, because I really wanted the vision the vision that really enriched my life in ways that I've yet to find the words to express at St. Thomas. So to see that vision continue, it really, really made me happy. And I'm happy to connect here at this level. And not just that, I'm a Brian Fraley fan all the way. So if Brian's part of it, you can count me in. Yeah, Brian has convinced me that he's the real deal. And so I'm in Atlanta right now. And I did my PhD at St. Thomas in 2015. It's been that long, Brian. And so I defended in February 2015. And I've been living in Atlanta, and my wife is here in Atlanta. Twin girls, recently born in October. So let's just say I'm going on an average of 3 hours of sleep a night. So this is all cool. And I recently started a new job at Xavier University of Louisiana. So I'm a professor of theology there now, so which is kind of cool. So I'm living between 2 states, and so it's quite a life I'm living right now. And in 2015, after I finished the PhD, I really wanted to get involved with really what brought me to St. Thomas to begin with, which is Haiti, to make my own contributions there. So practical theology really showed me how to enter the conversation, how to really get into the game, so to speak, and how to conduct research, real research that can impact people's lives. And so that's when I decided to found the Haitian Institute of Atlanta, a way of doing this kind of really real practical work, really to connect people, not just to theological ideas. A lot of times we're not even explicitly theological, but really to cast different visions of the world, possibilities of the future. And I think that's very much what we do. And so I'm really, really happy to be here, really, really proud to be part of this group. And I'm looking forward to the wisdom that I'm sure will enrich me by the time 8:30 comes around. And I'll pass on to Nathaniel Holmes.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Manuel. Hope everybody's doing okay today. Nathaniel Holmes, and I faculty of religion and philosophy at Florida Memorial University. Also graduated with the doctoral program at St. Thomas in Practical Theology, which is now at Palm Beach Atlantic. So I'm also a Brian Fraley fan, as well as I own and a whole lot of others who are on. So just happy to be here tonight, and it's good to see many people I haven't seen in a long while. And I will pass it to, I'm not for sure if Art Kane is gone yet.
Art Kane?
Art Kane, you need to unmute Art. Art's about to unmute. There, he's almost unmuted.
Okay. Okay.
Am I there yet?
Yes.
Made it. Art
There he is.
Plantation, fantastic admirer of Brian and his work for so long. It's fantastic. And Joe Iannone as well. You guys are great. Let me just say one thing. As a former Roman Catholic priest, I have always felt that pastoral theology was what we needed, not theological or all the conversation about the minor, not minor, but the theological niceties. Let's talk about pastoral needs. And I think that's fantastic. And I'm so pleased. This is my first time with CETE, but I certainly am so pleased and have been following what you're doing, and I support you in whatever way I can. Okay. Let me call on Elizabeth Ferrero.
Hey, Elizabeth.
Hi, everyone. Elisabetta Ferrero. So many wonderful faces whom I have known and admired. I'm very humbled by all of you. 35 years at St. Thomas University, first as a student with Sue Gallagher, and then as a teacher, and so many memories. I'm an elder now, living in the mountains of the beautiful state of North Carolina, the homeland of Tom Berry. And I'm here. I would have not missed this for the world. In fact, I came running from my daughter. There was another meeting that I was attending because of one specific reason of networking. We are not going to survive unless we build strong networks. And so I'm excited about CETE. And well, I'm glad to be here, and I welcome all of your presences. Thank you. And I'm calling on Andrew McCarthy.
Thank you very much. This is Andrew McCarthy, and greetings to you from Jackson, Missouri. I graduated from PBAU with my PhD in practical theology back in May of 2023. Brian was my chair, program director. I consider Brian a mentor. And that's wonderful to be with you. I identify as neurodivergent. I have a bipolar 1 disorder diagnosis, and that was what I did my dissertation on. And so a big part of the thrust of what I want to do in the future is to write about the experience of neurodivergent spirituality. And so that's one of my goals this year. I have been looking for adjunct positions. And for me, it's just probably going to start on an online way with that. So, and I'll just go ahead and pass to one of my colleagues in the program when I went through, and that is Sean Allen.
Hello, everyone. Really honored to be here with all of you tonight. So I have the distinct privilege of starting my PhD program at St. Thomas University, and then surprisingly receiving the privilege of transferring over to Palm Beach Atlantic University. So I was the first person to graduate from Palm Beach Atlantic University with a PhD in practical theology. So very honored and just stand in a long line of all of you, and then people like Andrew who've come along. So just really so great to be here. My passion is what I call missional unity, just joining God's mission with as many people as possible. So this is literally what I consider missional unity tonight. And so thank you, all of you, for being here. And let's see, thank you. And so let's go with Father Alexis Joseph.
Good evening to everyone. I'm Father Alexis Joseph from Nigeria. I'm an experienced student of PBA. I hope to learn from your wealth of knowledge. I think I am honored to be a part of this conversation. So thank you all.
And call on, who will you call on?
Nina Nicholas.
Took a while to unmute myself. I'm Nina Nicholas. I'm in Palm Beach Gardens. I got my undergraduate degree from St. Thomas University. Dr. Joe and Mercedes Einon are my former bosses. And I'm just excited to be part of this conversation. I'm in Palm Beach Gardens. I have a private practice here, and I also teach online. Happy to be here. And I call on Will Nicholas.
Of course you do. I am big fan of Joe Ionon since I've met him when Nina worked for him many, many years ago. And I love the whole, and I always have my entire life loved the concept of a practical ministry, and recently kind of reconnected with Joe at the event that was held down at Florida Memorial. Was really excited to be there. I work for Broward Schools, and I've taught for Palm Beach Atlantic and a couple other places, and I attended St. Thomas for a while as well. So anyway, that's me, and I'm racking my mind here to see who has not been called. I might need some help with that.
Jeffrey, Vincent, or Fidelis? Oh,
Vincent, let's do. We'll go with Vincent. How about that?
My name is Vincent Brown. I serve as senior pastor of St. Matthew's Missionary Baptist Church in Liberty City, Miami, and I live in Delray Beach, Florida. I am here because of curiosity. I attended the last gathering at Florida Memorial, and a former student, not graduate, but former student of Boca Raton Reformed Theology.
What does CETE mean? That's what it's all about.
That's fantastic. I don't know if there's anyone else left who has not yet spoken. We thank you very much, Vincent. Anyone else left who has not yet spoken? Seeing no one, I simply would like to share what a grace-filled moment that was. It was worth every second times a million. Thank you all for the joy of hearing your precious voices, seeing you wherever possible, and connecting with you in so many ways. And now we look forward to hearing from Sue as we move on to our next stage. But keep in mind, this network is only just beginning.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Brian. So we're going to move into a process called triads. When we think about, and we heard this in several of your comments, right, that this is a group of peers. This is a group who've had some similar experiences in terms of enriching their spiritual, ministerial journeys through contextually engaged theological education. And so in bringing us together, we want to strengthen the fabric of our network by having an opportunity to see and feel and hear and attune to each other. And that's the kind of muscle of a network, right? Is that we can see each other, we can feel each other, we know each other, we have a sense of what gifts and questions the folks in this network are walking with or are being walked by. And so this opportunity is just for you to relax, right? Each of you, we're going to break out into a triad, and each of you will have 8 minutes to share a little bit about what are you curious about? What questions do you have? Or what is really arising for you in your spirit that you would like to have witnessed by the other 2 folks in your triad, right? And so you can speak from your head, you can speak from your heart, you can speak from your spirit, you can tell what's going on in your body, right? You can talk about what's happening relationally, right? It's your time to just be attuned with, to listen, to be heard, to be felt, to be seen. And the listeners, the two folks who are listening not to judge, not to give advice, but to notice what comes up for you as you listen, right? What is sparked in you? What questions do you have, right? And tonight, we won't have an opportunity for you to give direct feedback to that person, but next time we meet, there'll be an opportunity for a little bit more dialogue in the triad. Tonight, we just want each person to have an opportunity to share for 8 minutes, right? Maybe give a few 30 seconds or so just to let that digest. And then we'll move to the next person who will have 8 minutes. And when we come back as a large group, we do what's called a harvest, where the things that resonated with you will want to share in this group, with the intent that this process is going to arise connections, synergies, shared ideas, shared excitement, right? And it just begins to inform the richness of our network. So again, what we're going to do is I'm going to move you all into a breakout room. I'm going to send each of you in each of the triads a message with the time that you have to speak, and just, I think, be gracious with each other, right? Attentive in your listening, present in your receiving of the information, and joyous in your sharing and in your speaking. And we hope to learn together on this process. Yes, go ahead, Haskell.
I have to apologize. I'm teaching actually in a few minutes.
Okay.
But it was scheduled before this one. I just wanted to acknowledge Brian and Sue about gathering us. It's so significant, and I feel honored to be part of this process. And God bless you.
Great to have you with us. Thanks so much.
You. Looking forward to seeing you soon.
All right. So with that, the group that Haskell was in will have 2 folks, so you guys can adjust your time accordingly. So I'm going to send you into the triads. Each speaker will have 8 minutes. Then we'll come back into the large room for a debrief. So I will send messages in the room. Enjoy yourself. Relax, enjoy, and have wonderful conversations. Welcome back, everybody. And so this is the opportunity now to, just for the next 10 or 12 minutes or so, to kind of share what resonated with you. And, you know, we want to honor the confidentiality of folks. So when you share, it's more about, here's what I heard and felt and experienced in my triad that resonated. Here's what I want to know more about. So at this time, it's not so much about, you know, identifying specific people, but we're really looking to see, are there some shared themes or some interests or resonances that this group has collectively sort of presenced, and how we might continue that to be, or consider that to be, ongoing nourishment for the development of this network. So I'm pretty sure this isn't a shy group. And so we can, if folks just want to either raise their hand in person, or just, you know, you can use the little raise your hand feature, or just start speaking. Really just kind of share what maybe you heard that was new, or something that made you curious, or that you got excited about. Just so that we can kind of lift up what some of the energy in the network is, and how we might nourish it.
Oh, this is Jonas here speaking.
Yes.
You hear me?
Yes, Jonas, we can hear you.
Yeah. Well, I think in our group, the thing that strikes was more who we are, than what we really were able to share. You know, when I thought I was a retired pastor in a corner here in Haiti, and find that there is Joe, whom I've met before at the seminary, and we're still at it ministering, and Marlene, who is an entrepreneur, and who find herself ministering in almost the same way as I am, and Joe is. I believe that brings to the surface the goodness and effectiveness of diversity. As we minister in a difficult situation where the dominant culture is saying to us that, well, you know, we are what matters. I believe that outfits like CETE is really saying to us that we have reasons to really hold on and to push forward with inclusion. And that our group, that's what it was. And I'm very much encouraged that that is still happening, and that CETE is making it happen, and that I'm part of that.
Beautiful, thank you.
That's my tip from it.
I'd like to jump in because I'm going to have to leave pretty soon. I really enjoyed the group. We had a duo, not a triad, but that gave us an opportunity to go a little deeper and a little richer. I was with Reverend Jeffrey. I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name, Wanyoki, something like that. And he's in Seattle. I'm in Fort Lauderdale. But I think where we came together is we talked about community. He was sharing a little bit, and he can share his piece about the community that he's a part of in Seattle and that he's helping to develop. And he discussed what he hopes to be, what his vision of being able to do with this practical theology program he's in as a PhD, and being able to mentor to others, which I think is an admirable thing to do. And we also talked a little bit about our commonality was ministering to others that may be in grief, whether it might be individuals or, you know, maybe grief from being in a different culture from the culture that's home. And we did exchange contact information, which I feel is a valuable part of being in this community. And I feel like I developed a friendship tonight with Reverend Jeffrey.
Beautiful. Thank you, Habit.
If I may just follow up on my brother Joe Nutz's diversity theme. I had the fortune of meeting with a brother this evening who is from Kenya, which also reminds us of the global perspective. And I had the privilege of going to Kenya in July. So I was able to bounce off some of my experiences on him and have him feed back at me, which was very, very enriching for me. And I think that CETE will allow for some more of that to happen. Not just the diversity here within Florida or within the States, but the global connection as we intersect at those crossroads. And I think CETE is going to be a good place for that to happen and for conversations to have. We have taken each other's information, which we continue our conversation. So thanks to CETE.
Beautiful, beautiful, thank you. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
This is not the first time I heard it, but I heard it probably with different ears. In other words, the incredible need of having projects, of applying some of those incredible thoughts and ideas to what is sacred. And according to what Eamon Grayman was saying, around the world, and what I heard today in Nigeria, this project that came out of nothing by nothing, I mean an idea floating around with Season of Creation. And now it's becoming a project that would change, hopefully, the hopes, the jobs, the concepts of who they are in Nigeria. And Father Fidelis is really spearheading that. And he's in the process right now of being incorporated But basically it would be teaching people who already want to eat organic food, who want to sell organic food, who want to be employed, who want to be able to work with the university and teaching courses on organic food and all this kind of stuff. It can be done. Areas that have all the right ingredients. And these are the projects that, when I talk about that we need strong networks, I am not just talking about the fact that we change people's consciousness, but we change people's consciousness through working directly in projects. Projects in this sense, in areas that probably are wastelands, hopeless for many people, that I never heard. So I do thank Father Fidelis for putting a lot of energy, and he has now farmers who are helping him. He has people at university. So I'm encouraging everybody who feels, because he needs much more help. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead, Jeffrey.
Yeah, I've been leaving soon because I have to conduct a meeting, a prayer meeting in a few minutes' time. But I had a wonderful moment with Hobbit, and it was a great time together. I felt challenged by her contribution and her vision of life and what she's doing, and in terms of visiting hospice, and visiting these people, the elderly, listening to them. And my great takeaway was that she become a gift and a grace to people in this condition, sometimes being because of age and some other factors. One may have angst or anger or anxiety, and wanting to be present in that situation and become a gift, listening or even experiencing vetting and things like that. And I really felt is a strong woman and a person who is contributing to the well-being of a certain part of our community, and even in her advancement in terms in chaplaincy and our vision to grow. I felt challenged, and even the aspect of inclusivity, that we can all share and talk together, even if we are diverse community, and we can come together and share a common goal by which we can all appreciate and develop and learn from one another. And so that was a very fruitful and a very helpful meeting. And we have networking on our future visions of study, engaging in theology, and getting resources where they are available, and even engagement in networking, so that at least one can have opportunities to develop what he is doing, especially like myself in my PhD program. And I really thank Brian for this meeting. I find it very fruitful moment for me to be here and to learn from all of you, and even to have what is his name? Rabbi Haskell Barnett at 89, and he is teaching, and I felt so encouraged and even to move forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm so glad you shared before you had to go. Beautiful.
And it's Vincent Brown.
Yes, good.
On our call was Will and Wilson. And what I noticed both of us, or all three of us, had in common was a passion for ministry, a passion for the lost, a passion in order to serve and to serve where God has called us. And both of us, I mean, in fact, I think Wilson and I can identify with the fact that he is now in the position of looking for a pastoring. He's a chaplain and hospice. And I had sort of encouraged him that I too was in that position. I'm now full-time in ministry, but I was in the position as a bivocational pastor. So I just want to sort of encourage him that, just keep praying, keep searching, and God will somehow just lead you the right people that come in your path and will make a difference. And I'm so glad and excited for this opportunity to be a part of this group. And I'm looking for great things. Like I said, I log on because of curiosity.
Wonderful. Thank you, Vincent.
Hi. Yeah, our group was fun and interesting. I kind of got the feeling that just kind of we were catching up with ourselves and kind of being in the moment, present in the moment, and the feeling that getting the sense of timing and the season and timing that we're in our lives, especially, we have January, the beginning of the year, 2024, and everybody kind of sets goals and does those kind of things. And but everyone in our group, we each talked about what's driving us right now, what's naturally kind of what is that spiritual breath that's inside of us. And one of us, is working on their PhD. Another one of us was a veteran teacher. And me, I'm kind of in between all that, kind of looking for a first position and deciding to maybe write a book here in this year. And I think we all just were able to help each other with some wisdom, but we didn't go into great detail on that. But we were just able to listen. But I definitely think that there's room for more of this activity of what you're formatting tonight with this depth of what are we breathing, because sometimes we have to go a little deeper and we think we're breathing one thing because we're doing this activity, we're involved in this activity, and that's what we're working at and putting our time in that. But that might not be where our spiritual life is at, our spiritual depth, or even what the Holy Spirit is transitioning us. So I think this is a time right now, and in this first month of the year, kind of the first harvest of this year, to ask the Holy Spirit what is deep within us and to draw that out in our lives and our calling and vocation. And also, we might be pleasantly surprised. And I'm excited to be part of this group. And I'm excited for the Holy Spirit's leadership and the vision that I hear and the passion that I hear from others and the vision that I hear. I feel like we have the passion, the synergy of the passion of people in different seasons. And we also have the vision of people who have a lot of experience. So thank you.
So we are coming up fast. Go ahead, Dale, and then we'll.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to say that we started out talking about how we appreciate what a treasure it is to be in this diverse group, because we learn from each other across culture, and how a concern that we raised was how can we strengthen our bonds, our threads across culture during a time in our country when we are so polarized politically. And it seems like it's even more urgent that we strengthen our multicultural bonds, our tossed salad of diversity that we have, that we so much enjoy in South Florida that maybe they don't have in some other parts. I don't know. And then it was Nina Nicholas. It was a group of two, and we began talking about grief and grief support, and the bringing in the stories from other countries and in their grief, and so we got off on that tangent, but that's, I guess, just another issue.
Yeah, beautiful. And in the short time that we've had in these last few moments to arise what came in our triads and dyads, I can feel a richness, an excitement, a deep sense of encouragement that maybe we don't find in a lot of places in our lives, where there's a shared understanding of who we are, and being able to lift each other up in that and our journeys. So I do want to honor our time, and our intention is to host another gathering where we will continue this process of bringing ourselves together with some depth, where we have some time to go deep with each other, and then to share that back to the larger group and just kind of continue that rhythm and that flow, to see organically what emerges. Folks have already shared information. Folks have identified, possible themes going forward and other ways that we can enrich this network by sharing projects and resources and ideas and contacts. And so I am very grateful for all of you being here, for walking this experiment with us, and really look forward to deepening with all of you on this journey. Joe, Brian, I don't know if you want to add a statement or two.
I'm profoundly grateful for all those of you who are here. I ask that you do hold on for the next opportunity when you find that outreach, and that you commit to it, that it will work, that we continue this. This is a matter of journeying together. There is nothing more precious than being in it together. Joe?
Yeah, and just coming off of what Andrew said about where the Holy Spirit is leading us, and if we could breathe that in our own life and our own work, and what Elizabeth has said about, I get hope from action. I get hope from doing something. It gives hope. And what I got tonight is each of us, are planted, and we have this diverse global opportunity here to nurture, connect something that's bigger than any one of us, and that will give each of us strength as we bring our strengths to it. So I think the Spirit for me is opening up opportunities, channels, canals, and I can't wait to see how we can learn and blossom, because the culture needs it, we need it, and it's time. And CETE is kind of like the vine here, with all the branches. We do have a shared common history, which is unusual for groups that are starting out. So I thank you, and thank Sue, for facilitating, and of course, Brian, for leading us. Sue?
Yeah, thanks everybody. May you go forward with great abundance and blessing. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Night. Thank you so much. In it together. So good to be together. Thank you. What a blessing. What a joy. Thank you all. Thank you. Oh, what a treat to be together. I salute you. Thank you. Thank you. What a joy. Appreciate you being part of this.